First, you have to preheat your oven to 375 degrees. And make sure you have your cookie sheets out, ungreased. You don't have to grease the pans with this recipe. The ingredients are 1 cup of chocolate chips, 1.5 cups of coconuts, 1.5 cups of walnuts. You can omit the walnuts in case there's a nut allergy, or if you don't like walnuts, you can use another type. The chocolate chips, you can omit that and replace that with raisins. 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs, 1/2 cup of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and the wet ingredients are 1/2 cup of softened butter and 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. And also make sure you have 2 bowls. 1 bowl for your dry ingredients and 1 for your wet ingredients. Use the larger bowl for the wet ingredients and the smaller bowl for your dry ingredients. And then you just whisk that together. You can also use a fork. And this is very important. With the sweetened condensed milk, you have to make sure you use the whole can. So I have a small spatula, which I'm using to scrape each and every little bit of that sweetened condensed milk. The recipe, when I first saw this recipe years ago, when my mom actually introduced me to this recipe, it's the Eagle brand recipe. It said, it was very detailed. It said to use every bit of that can. So every time I make these cookies, I make sure I use the whole thing, and I scrape and I scrape until I get it all out. You just got to be careful with the spatula. Sometimes you can slip, and make sure you don't scratch your fingers on the can. It's very, very sharp, so just be careful with that. I've gotten cut before. So I think this is just to make sure the cookies stay nice and moist. Like, again, just make sure you be careful with that sharp can. And then you add the softened butter. Make sure the butter is soft, because if it's not soft, it's going to be hard to mix. And then just beat that. Mix the sweetened condensed milk and the butter together until you get a nice creamy consistency. And this is what you want. And then you're going to add in the dry ingredients. And it's okay to add in the dry ingredients to the wet, because we're not going to use our mixer again. We're just going to mix it like so with the spoon. But make sure you mix that until the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients mix nicely. And once that is mixed, you're going to go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients, the walnuts, chocolate chips, and the coconut. This recipe actually takes 2 cups of chocolate chips, but I only added 1 because that's what I felt like eating, just less chocolate chips for some reason. I have days where I want to put more, but I just wanted to use 1 cup this time. And the coconut also, it's a cup and 1 1/3 cups, but I just go ahead and add 1.5 cups. And just mix that well. Make sure to combine all the ingredients. Some people like to add the nuts, the chocolate chips, and the coconut separately, but I just go ahead and add them all together and mix them all together one time. So I have my oven preheated at 375 degrees. I have my cookie sheets ready, and here's the mixture. We're gonna drop rounded tablespoonfuls onto the cookie sheet. Okay, so you have to wash your hands first, and then we're gonna get our hands dirty again to make rounded tablespoonfuls of the cookie dough to drop them onto the cookie sheet. So you're gonna take about a tablespoon of the mixture, and you're gonna make ball, just round it up and then place it onto the ungreased cookie sheet. You can also use a spoon to help scoop it up. If the ball is too big, you can just go ahead and take some off, just like so. Make a round ball. You can make them smaller. I like to make them like a medium size. You can also make them bigger. Okay, so we're gonna pop these in the oven. Again, the temperature is at 375 degrees. The recipe actually calls for 8 to 10 minutes. I make mine a little big, so I do leave them for 12 to 15. I will check them at 12 minutes, and then if they need a little more time, I'll leave them in for a few more minutes. Let's pop these babies into the oven. Gosh, look at this. Look at this yummy goodness, you guys. Oof, they look really good. So this is how they look when I leave them in for 15 minutes. So I'm gonna let them cool a little bit on here before transferring them onto the cooling rack. These in now. It goes in for 15 minutes. Oh my goodness, they smell so good. Even the mixture alone, when you're mixing it, smells so good. And now for a taste test. So it's crunchy on the outside, but nice and chewy on the inside. So good. So there you have it, chocolate chip treasure cookies. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and have a good day.